Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Tigers. It's Thursday, April 22.
In today's announcements, we have information about homecoming and a blood drive, and then also an Earth Day PSA.
If you are interested in donating blood one last time this year, sign up for a time on the Blood Donor app or contact Maddie Dean for any questions.
The band and choir students recently participated in a virtual solo and ensemble contest. They performed their music pieces in a video and were sent to a judge. Congratulations to the following: Natalie Geyer, Gabby Bernabe-Grassi, Cassie Dobson, Theta Del Cerro, Kaylee Peterson, Megan Wiesender, Joni Strelo, Franny Everson, Kaylee Swino, Lauren Bergerson, and Annalise Swigum. They all received a first on their handball performance and will be advancing to state in May. Ethan Perrine received a first on his trombone solo. Students receiving a second on their performances include Angel Friedel on her flute solo, Jacob Howe and Gabby Bernabe-Grassi on their marimba trombone duet, Isabel Blackdeer on her clarinet solo, and Keisha Nimmo on her vocal solo. Great job to all those who participated.
We've got some homecoming events coming up. To start, today's dress-up theme is Class Color Day.
Tonight, starting at 5:45 p.m., is the Victory March at the Skyline Golf Course. Again, that starts at 5:45.
Juniors and seniors, the Prom King and Queen ballots will be sent out today in your email. Keep your eyes open for that. In this time of uncertainty, we welcome the first ever school district of Black River Falls homecoming.
Speaking of prom, make sure you buy your prom tickets today at lunch for $20. It is the last day to buy your prom tickets before the dance, but they will be selling at the door Saturday night for our in-person and virtual students who go to Black River.
You and your family members are invited to a community-wide pep assembly held on Thursday, April 22nd. That's tonight at 6 p.m. at Tiger Stadium. We ask if you are not able to socially distance, you wear a mask even though we are outside. Come join the fun and cheer the Tiger football team on to a victory against Belleville.
And now for a special guest, we welcome Miss Miles from the Bolton Refuge House to talk about this week's topic, consent. Hello again, Teresa. Thanks again for stopping in. As the anchor crew just noted, today we're going to talk about consent. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
Perfect. So I heard that you also have a related question from the Ask Me Anything box, and it's kind of connected to today's topic. So is it possible to be sexually assaulted or raped and not know it until later?
Yes, it is. There are a variety of circumstances under which that can happen. When we typically think that somebody is not remembering something that happened to them, we think about drug or alcohol use being involved. That can be the case where your memory is impaired and you might not remember it happening at all. You might remember bits and pieces of things. Another way that can happen where someone is sexually assaulted but not remembering it is just the simple body response. I think a lot of people have heard of the fight or flight reflex.
Yes.
There's also the freeze aspect. And when you experience the trauma, whether it's from a rape or any other kind of significant trauma that a person is going through, your brain chemistry changes.
Yeah.
And because your brain wants to protect you from unpleasant and unwanted things. And so it is common for people to experience almost blackouts.
Yeah.
When there is a sexual assault or any other traumatic event. So if a person believes that they may have been sexually assaulted, even if you're not sure, it's real important to speak to somebody about that.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about, the consent, a person who is under the influence of drugs or alcohol cannot consent. There have been people who have been sexually assaulted while they are sleeping. You cannot consent. Obviously, there are state restrictions regarding age and consent. But then there's also coercion, and that can be part of a scenario such as this person's question, where they may be coerced into something. It's very traumatizing to them. Their brain blocks it out.
Yeah.
But oftentimes when, I'm just going to generically say, women experience sexual assaults or rape, it is not at all uncommon for you to block all or part of those memories out. And that's just your brain trying to protect you from that trauma.
It's just our natural human response.
It's your natural response.
Yes. So last week we talked about the prevalence of sexual assault, but we need to talk about when sexual contact crosses over to sexual assault. So can you help us understand where that line is?
So basically, again, that kind of goes to consent. When you're talking about sexual contact, that's anything. It can be kissing, it can be fondling, it can be groping, it can be intercourse. But the same can be said with sexual assault.
Okay.
And sexual assault isn't limited by that either. There's also things like voyeurism, taking pictures, all those kinds of things. There's so many categories under which that falls that you need to be aware of. That's a question I'd like to spend more time on at some point. And just to let people know, again, more questions, greatly appreciate them. If you have questions that we're not able to get done, please feel free to contact us at the phone number, the 715-333-2350, or an email is teresa.m@boltonrefuge.com.
Alrighty, and then my last question quickly for you is, how can you respond if someone is pressuring you?
If someone is pressuring you, you need to set boundaries. Boundaries are extremely important, and sticking to those boundaries, and that, again, kind of leads into the topic of consenting. But stick to what you believe. Stick to what you feel.
Yes, don't let peer pressure kind of influence you.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And if it gets to be too overwhelming, walk away.
Yeah.
Just
Remove
leave
yourself.
the situation, remove yourself,
Yeah.
and give yourself the time to process everything that's going on.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Teresa.
Thank you.
And then for everybody, thank you so much for watching. For GM97, I'm Kaylee, and this is Teresa, and we'll be back next week. Bye, Tigers.
In 1969, Americans started caring about their environment. It began with the Cuyahoga River fire in Cleveland, Ohio. Actually, the river had started on fire 9 times previous to 1969, but this time it was caught on nightly news. This was a time of no air pollution laws, and acid rain was making lakes sterile in Maine and Wisconsin. DDT was being used as a pesticide, but it not only killed the pests, it caused a near extirpation of the bald eagle and the peregrine falcon in North America. There was a huge oil spill in Santa Barbara. This was also the time of protests against the Vietnam War for equal rights. It was the time of the hippie. A senator from Wisconsin named Gaylord Nelson organized a nationwide grassroots demonstration to protect the environment known as Earth Day. This was before social media. He used phones and word of mouth. It is now celebrated worldwide on April 22nd. The first Earth Day had over 2,000 colleges, 10,000 primary and secondary schools, and hundreds of communities. Even Black River Falls School District participated. The results of Earth Day were a Clean Air Act, laws to protect drinking water, wild lands, oceans, the National Environmental Policy Act, and the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency.
The year is 2021, and we're having a world health crisis. What is interesting, though, is this pandemic is showing how quickly the Earth can heal. Nitrogen dioxide levels in China and throughout Europe have sharply decreased. Los Angeles, a city well known for its smog, currently has some of the cleanest air among major cities across the world. Another benefit is clean water in the canals of Venice, Italy. One odd environmental effect is that instead of people in our streets, wild animals are walking around. April 22nd is Earth Day. I challenge you to do something for the Earth. Make it a better place to live for you and your family. Find joy in the Earth. Remember, we are the stewards of the Earth, and this is our future.